Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
My name is JERYL. I am an alcoholic. And it is also an honor and privilege to serve each and every one of you, except for you and you. Yeah, right there, you. I'm the Panel 62 Area 9 delegate. And what that means is there's no claps, no applause. They pulled me out of a hat, you know. It just means I get to serve as a delegate. I get to go to New York, and I get to go to Boise, Idaho, and I get to go to Alaska, and I get to go to some crazy cold-ass places and represent you guys for the General Service Board and all the issues that we get to do around here. And I'm really grateful that I've been asked to come here. I want to thank John for inviting me. And I want to thank Les and the committee for having me here and making my wife and I feel at home, very comfortable. And it's also really nice because I know a lot of you guys and ladies. You know, it makes me feel real comfortable. And the ones I don't know, I know you too. Especially the ones back there in the half measure section. You guys know who you are. You one smiling right now. And you guys over there in denial aisle. And you thought I was going to forget relapse row right here, huh? That's funny. I want to thank you guys for having me out here. And it's really funny because I met this gentleman. We actually met in the men's room. No, it wasn't like that. No, he was standing there saying the water was cold, and I was telling him it was deep too. But no. The first thing he said, I came up here and I said, I'm JERYL, I'm speaking. He goes, are you funny? So we were in the bathroom together just now. You should know by now. No, I'm not. I might say some funny stuff, but by the same token, we could funny each other to death out here in the Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. And I get to speak a lot of places, but I also get to hear a lot of speakers. And a lot of times we carry a mess. We tend to laugh a lot, and we forget to deliver a message. You know, and for many of us in the room, you know, we carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous on your feet because you are the message. You may be the only message that many people ever get to see. You may be the only big book they ever read. So we got to be very, very careful some of the things that we do and say when we're speaking to people, because a lot of people just do speaker meetings. A lot of us, like me, I came to Alcoholics Anonymous. This is my 24th attempt at getting sober. I came in and out of AA. Well, I was never really in it because I never did anything. I lingered long on step none, you know. How many of you guys know what I'm talking about, step none? And the ones who didn't raise your hand, you know, you're just fibbing anyway. I lingered long on step none. I will come here and I'll do anything to get sober. I mean, I'll do absolutely anything to get sober but the steps. Go to tons of meetings, man. I'll memorize chapter 3, chapter 5. I know all the right times to clap. I know when to chant the end of the thing, you know. I know when to keep coming back. I know when to, it has to be smashed. Oh yeah, you know. I know all that stuff. Still on step none. You'll find that many of us who go to AA meetings, it's really funny. If you really think about it, most of us in the rooms don't read the literature. And most of us in the rooms haven't done all the steps. And most of us in the rooms share. What the heck could we possibly be sharing about if we haven't read the literature and we don't do the steps? But it happens. I'm just saying, you know. So I'm really grateful to have an opportunity to be here because I think your theme was something like how do I get here from there? Or you can get here from there. And there is no way possible I ever thought that I would be standing here in the high desert. Like I said, my name is JERYL. The D is silent. If you ever saw Django, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that I'd be standing here at the high desert, 20 years sober. Last week I celebrated my 20th year sober. No. No need to clap, no need to clap. I'll tell you why, because it's one day at a time, right? So today is day number 7,314, but who's counting? One day at a time. Hey, the only way I know that today is 7,314 is yesterday was 7,313, the day before that was 7,312, and it goes all the way back to day one, February 28th, 1993. See, because on February 27th, I had a really good idea. Actually, let me go back. On February 26th, I had a really good idea. I asked my girlfriend if I could use her car to drive down the street and get a pack of cigarettes. Now, we were living in Newport Beach at the time, or Newport Beach, depending on how you guys might want to look. To me, it's Newport Beach. Everybody got new, and they're all kind of bleach. Anyway, so I got her car, and I drove down the street, and I went to 7-Eleven, and next thing I knew, I ended up 53 miles away back in South Central LA, where I'm from. And I spent that evening drinking a lot of Jose Cuervo Gold and smoking a lot of stuff. Now, I have to tell you guys right now, I am an alcoholic through and through. I belong to AA, NA, CA, OA, GA, PTA, fucking A. I go to Canada, I belong to AAA, you know. I mean, but this particular night, I'm coming back, and I did make it home that night. Roseanne was quite scared. She was nervous, so she's calling every hospital looking for me. She knew I was in some terrible crash, and I was just there smoking and drinking. After 20 years of smoking and drinking, I'm coming back the next morning, and it's really strange because I don't know about you guys, but whenever I smoke like cocaine or something, I get very nervous. Anybody here ever surrendered to the bushes out front? There you go. Get them up high so everybody can see you. I just don't want to be alone, man. I lived in Northridge, man. I'd be out there at 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, just take me. Come on, take me. In my underwear, right? And the neighbors, all the lights going, look, there he is again. I told you, Negro, there he is. Look at him. Surrender to the bushes, man. 3 times. You guys ever get those lines on your forehead? Like, you look in the mirror and you go, what the heck? You get those lines, those 3 lines from looking through the blinds all night? And you, see? Oh, man, got one. Stand up, please. Stand up right there. Ladies and gentlemen, get out. Give the clap right there, huh? Give that person the clap. No, I don't mean really. Not literally. Don't give them the clap, but penicillin helps too. Anyway, so get that little circle around your eye from looking. Never mind. So I'm driving back home, and I park the car, and I take a swig of Jose Cuervo Gold, my favorite drink, and I take a little hit of this Coke, and I get a little paranoid because I knew the people saw me. So I start the car, drive down the street, park it, take a drink, drive the car, park. About an hour and a half later, I've gone like 2 blocks, right? And I finally just said, that's it, I'm done. I threw the pipe out of the window, I threw the rock out of the window, I threw the bottle out of the window, drove around the block, came back and looked for the dope. I'm not real stupid, I'm not slow, but but I couldn't find it that day. February 27th, 1993. My sponsor later explained to me that was God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself, right? So how do I get to here from there? So in order to do that, I need to backtrack a whole bunch, okay? But on the way to backtracking, because I understand I got like 50, how long do I get to talk? Like 10 minutes? 20, 30, hour? Hour and a half? 2 hours? Don't tell them I'll do it. All right, so check it out. We're going to backtrack. But before I do, I want to tell you guys what an honor it is, first of all, to be a delegate. It just simply means that I have to show up to every single solitary event. I have to go everywhere. I have to do everything. I've been last year, I think I did 32 districts and intergroups that I went and visited to do a share back. I came out here a couple of times, and I was very honored to meet the general service people out here. You guys do a great job. You just do a great job out here. But we've been to Canada to speak. I've been to New York for the conference and Alaska a couple of times. And just reading, you guys ever read that service manual? How many people here have a service manual? Okay, check this out. You guys who don't have a service manual, you know how they tell you if you read the big book, if you can't sleep, read the big book, right? If you can't sleep, read the service manual. It'll knock you out for a week. But when you come back, you'll be going, ooh, this is some good shit. And I'll tell you why. You guys have heard the 12 concepts of service, right? Here's the bottom line. The 12th concept, the very last paragraph, well, the last sentence before the last paragraph. One of my favorite, most spiritual things I've ever read in Alcoholics Anonymous. And I've read this thing a million times, but I didn't get it till about 5 months ago. And it just hits me like nothing else about Alcoholics Anonymous can. What it simply says is, the freedom under God to grow in his likeness and image shall forever be the quest of Alcoholics Anonymous. The freedom under God to grow in his likeness and image shall ever be the quest of Alcoholics Anonymous. And then it goes on and says that we hope that the General Service Conference, which I get to attend this year for the second time, will be the champion of this cause, will always be that champion, you know? And it just blows me away because I've gone through steps, I've read the book, I've done, like I said, I was on step none for forever, you know? But to realize what Alcoholics Anonymous really is, here's how it works for me. I take the steps so I can get sober. I use the traditions, I apply the traditions in my life so I can stay sober. And the concepts of service is how I think once I am sober. That's why they got that whole triangle. See, you can't do half of it. You can't do a quarter of it. You can't do a third of it. You can't go, well, I'm unity. I go to meetings. Step none. You can't say, well, I'm of service. I help people. I do coffee and take people to meetings. Dude, that's like, I'm not even going to talk about that. That's just crazy. It takes all sides of this triangle. The circle and the triangle. The circle simply is the fellowship. There is no beginning and no ending, right? On that circle. There's no beginning, no ending. So we're all the same. The triangle, unity, service, recovery. Recovery is the steps. We aren't shit if we ain't got no recovery, right? But the book also tells us we feel a man is unthinking when he says sobriety is enough. So just being sober ain't enough. And it's funny because they wrote that back in 1939, right? If they would have wrote that in today's language, they would have just said something like, man, you're a stupid MF if you think just not drinking's enough. So that was about as harsh as they could get. They said, we feel a man is unthinking. And the other side of that thing is the traditions, which is the unity. And that's how we're able to stay together. And as a delegate, I am so fortunate that I get to visit so many groups. I get to see so many different ways that people practice Alcoholics Anonymous, right? So what I'll do now is I will backtrack. I was doing Michael Jackson moonwalking. It was good for me. I'm going to backtrack back to the very beginning. And if you guys would do me a favor, just before I start, I would love to take a moment of silence for, and I'll tell you who for. We're all alcoholics in here, right? Alcoholics, raise your hand. Okay, good. We're all alcoholics. So we all know people who, because of this disease, we all know people whose only crime was loving us too much. Those people whose lives we just ran through, whose heartstrings we just stomped on, whose love we just used and abused. You know, I'm talking about the sad and disgusted parents, the angry, what do you call those things, the employers, the warped lives of blameless children. If we could just take a moment of silence for those people, I'd appreciate it. Okay. That was pretty good, huh? Everybody's like, nice job, you guys. I was born a poor Jewish kid in South Central LA. Well, at least I thought I was a poor Jewish kid. What happened was I was born in South Central LA in 1956, and back then we didn't have a South Central, it was just home, right? You guys call it South, we just call it home. And as a kid, we had a really weird life because we really weren't afraid of the police. You know, the police would come around and just, if you did something wrong, they blow a whistle, tap you with a stick or something. We really weren't afraid of the police. We were much more afraid of the fire department. Because back then, if you did wrong, the fire department would roll up on you, pull the water hoses out, and hose you down. Oh, you guys don't know about that, huh? Oh, it happened to us. Didn't like those guys a lot. But because of these IQ tests that they made us take when I was a kid, my IQ tested in the upper 1% of the nation, which meant that I was pretty freaking smart. I didn't know. They'd never told me. I just had these tests. So they started shipping me off to these schools on the other side of town. And in these schools, I had my best friends that I grew up with, Jesse Kramer, Scott Bornstein, Leonard Fenton, Andy Cohen, John Makowitz, and me. Thought I was a poor Jewish kid from South Central LA. And it was kind of cool hanging out with them because they'd always have these little parties and they'd invite Jerry come over, and at some point or another, they shut off all the lights in the room. They go, hey, JERYL, smile. I didn't like that too much. I quickly learned to hate. And I went home, and I was the youngest of 3 kids. My mother was married and divorced 4 times before I was 18 years old. So I was the youngest of her 3 kids and the 2 stepchildren that also made it to the house. And my 4 stepfathers were very, very instrumental in my growth. The first guy was an animal trainer. You guys ever see the show Doctari? My father, Carl Thompson. Oops, I said my last name. No, it's his last name. That's right. I didn't say mine, did I? That's cool. My father, Carl, was an animal trainer. He trained all these animals in Doctari and stuff, but he was also a gambler. And he would make all this money, but he would spend all the money, and we'd go to bed hungry often. And I remember him reminding my mother when I was like 4 or 5 years old, he would say, as long as these kids have grandparents, they don't have to worry about anything to eat, but I got to do what I'm going to do. And he gambled all of our money away. He kind of taught me, you just got to go off and get your own. You know what I mean? Because that's why I saw in him, and that's why I later got in this entertainment business as a result, and kind of followed in his footsteps. My first stepfather was Reggie. Reggie was a doctor. He had the black bag and the stethoscope, the white shoes, you know, and he'd be home for 4 days, gone for 3. Home for 4, gone for 3. He was always on call, right? And he later became a CIA agent. And it was really cool because I could hang out with him, and we would drive around and we'd go on these secret little rendezvous and stuff, and we'd go places and have to make sure nobody was following us, you know. And I'd wait in the car when he did his little secret spy stuff, and then get back, and it was like, you know, it was really cool, James Bond kind of thing, right? Well, later on found out he really wasn't a doctor, and he really wasn't a CIA agent. He just had another family on the other side of town, right? And my mother was working 3 jobs to support her 3 kids, 2 of his, him and the other family on the other side of town. And Reggie used to be very angry. He'd come in the house and he used to just beat people. He'd just come in the house and start just kicking butt. And he would start at the top, you know, but by the time all the ass whoopings got down to me, everybody in the house was kicking my butt, right? I quickly learned to hate Negroes. I hated those guys. And I hated Jesse Kramer, Scott Bornstein, Leonard Fenton, Andy Cohen, and John Makowitz. I got to go to high school. As I was coming up in, I was schools that had maybe one or two darker complected people, so I really didn't relate, right? But I got to high school. My mother let me pick what high school I wanted to go to, so I went to LA High School. And whereas John Burroughs Junior High School had like 95% Caucasian, LA High School had about 95% African Americans. And my first day at school, I'm walking around this school, and I've got my little Jimi Hendrix headband on, and my little platforms and green bell-bottom shoes and stuff, and I'm just walking around, weighing all about 110 pounds. I'm walking down, and some dude came up to me and said, "Say, bro, we're gonna pay the bitch, let him call him down." Are you talking to me? Sure, bro, 11 o'clock, what's up? I ran home. Mother, I mean, that's how I talked back then. Mother, I shan't be going back to that school again. And she said, well, why not? I said, because they talk funny. And they run fast. And they can jump. She said, well, let me explain something to you, Jerry. You're black. It sounds funny, but that was something that never ever crossed my mind. And to this day, that was one of the most devastating moments in my life. And I'll tell you why. Back then, everything associated with black was bad. You're behind the black ball. It's Black Tuesday. You're on the blacklist. This is black magic. You've been blackmailed. And she just told me I was a black male. Why? Everything white was wonderful. White, look it up in the dictionary. Pure as a driven snow. It's a little white lie. And she just told me I was black. I quickly hated myself. And I think the gauntlet was thrown, and I really realized that I just hated. I just hated. At that time, my mother and father used to send me to the store with a note to get wine and beer for them, right? And at 15 years old, I was able to go to the store. Oh, I forgot the note, and they would give me wine and beer. They would sell me wine and beer. So I quickly became the neighborhood wine and beer purchaser. Anybody else know that? There you go. So I go to the store, get the wine and beer, come back, and me and my buddies would take a bunch of drinks and stuff. I don't know if you guys ever remember this, but we go behind the garage, and we just sit there and we take like 15 breaths real fast, and then your buddy would hold your chest. Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Oh, look at all the hands up here. Oh, you high desert guys ain't got nothing to do, huh? You take a bunch of deep breaths, you hold your chest, so you just kind of go out, you just black out for a minute, you just, oh my God, and you go, wow, that's crazy. And you come back, and we do this stuff a little bit, and we drink, and we start smoking this weed stuff, right? And I'll tell you in a minute. Anyway, and so we're drinking, doing this whole thing, and my buddy Steve, his name was Stuttering Steve, right? My best friend. And we called him Stuttering Steve because Steve stuttered. You know? And so Stuttering Steve, we took a bunch of drinks, we drank some beer, drank some, you guys ever drink that MD 2020 stuff? Nice, yeah. So we drink that stuff. Hey, but one thing I have to tell you about Thunderbird. Anybody ever drink Thunderbird? Okay, in South Central, Thunderbird, the Boilermaker. What's a Boilermaker? Old English 800 and Thunderbird. Wham, boom, mixed together, that's a Boilermaker. It's good stuff. Tell you one thing, Ripple Pagan Pink, in case you guys don't know, Ripple Pagan Pink tastes the exact same going down as it does coming up. Just want to let you know. I just know this for a fact. I've done some testing over the years. So, Stuttering Steve takes some breaths. We hold his chest. Stuttering Steve comes out. He goes on the ground. He goes into a seizure. He's just sitting. He's violently shaking. We're all like, "Oh my God, Steve's gonna die. We're freaking out. We don't know what to do with Steve." And Steve is out. He's shaking his face all on the ground. It's just, and then he comes out of it. And he's like, "Oh." And he comes out. The side of his face is bloody with rocks and stuff in the face. And Steve stands up and he looks at me. He goes, "Wow." let's do it again. I remember thinking that moment, something's wrong with Steve. Anybody who would hurt himself that badly and want to do it again, something had to be wrong with him. So much easier to see it out there. You know, I never knew about if you spot it, you got it. I never knew about that back then, right? So my life goes on. I got in high school and I found something really cool in high school. It's called the drums. Drums are really cool. You know what's really cool about drums? You can beat them. The same way people all my life have been beating me, I found something that I finally could beat. And when I wanted to hit them, they did what I wanted to do. When I told them to shut up, they shut up. I would ditch school every day. Ditch school every day. Go home and play drums 8 hours a day, every day. And you know what happens when you practice something long enough? You get really good at it. It's like when we come to Alcoholics Anonymous and we practice the wrong thing. If you practice doing the wrong thing, you get really good at it. Be careful. I played drums, and drums are really, really cool. So I got ready to graduate high school, and let me do this real quick so I can get off this drunk log real quick. You guys got an imagination? If you got an imagination, raise your hand in the air. I'm gonna do my drunk log really quick. Here's my drunk log, hands down. Use your imagination. Roll with me on this, all right? I was driving my car down the highway of life. Ups and downs, there's beautiful paved road, beautiful trees, and I'm driving, it's a Cadillac. Brothers like Cadillacs. It's a brown Cadillac down the highway of life. And along the way, I ran over a bottle. But it wasn't so bad. I just picked up the bottle and continued on my highway. And I ran over a pothole. Got stuck for a while, but it wasn't so bad. So I continued down this highway. For whatever reason, my life began to go downhill, and I began to pick up speed. I love that. You can always tell the speed freaks in here. I know what he's talking about now. I got it. Oh, yes. Began to pick up speed. Picked up some passengers like Minnie Benny, Black Molly. Burned my tires out in acid. Thank God I stayed out of needles. Lost complete control. Ran through a weed patch. Ran head on into a pipe. And I was stuck on stupid and couldn't get off. You guys with me? Yeah. So I made a geographic. You guys know what geographic is, right? Made a geographic. Went to Africa. Whitewater rafting down the River du Nile. I found myself in the jungle having sex with a gorilla. What? You guys never had sex with a gorilla? It ain't so bad. No, I mean, the only thing wrong with having sex with a gorilla, the only thing bad about it is it ain't over till the gorilla's done. And every single time I thought I can go into this jungle and just have me a little quickie. Come here, little man. Oh, God. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. The first one of you MFs who call me the gorilla man tomorrow, I'm going to knock out, okay? I'm going to tell you right now. I never really had sex with a gorilla, okay? It was just figurative. The gorilla was my disease, right? You know what I'm saying? The gorilla was a disease. The River du Nile. Come on, you guys know what I'm talking about? That's okay. I did that about 8, 10 years ago, right? I did that whole little pitch right there. The next day, these two girls came. One little Asian girls. They were like, hey, I'm like, what? JERYL. We went to, I think the place was called Condom Revolution or something, right? And they had this bag. And when we saw this and we thought about you, and I'm like, okay. And they had me this bag. I'm like, I better not show my wife, right? And I pull this thing out of the bag, and it's this gorilla. And this gorilla with this elongated like, oh. So I take it to Angel games, and whenever they pull out the rally monkey, oh, it's funny. It's just funny. Ah, yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I graduated high school, I started playing drums. My thing was this, either I can go to, remember I said upper 1% of the nation IQ, right? We had equal opportunity stuff for all of us African Americans. So I can go to any university in the world that I wanted to go to, any university in the country I wanted to go to. My brother was already at Notre Dame University. I graduated LA High School. I could go to Notre Dame, USC, or play drums and chase girls and get loaded. Notre Dame University, or play drums, chase girls, and get loaded. What do you guys think? Get loaded, yeah. It's how we get here from there. Because you got to first get loaded, you know what I'm saying? So you guys knew where the story was going, right? Grilla. Anyway. So I ended up getting really fortunate. I got signed to a couple of labels. By the time I was 19 years old, I was on my first U.S. tour, about to go around the world, right? And by the time I was 21, I'd been around the U.S. 6 times, around the world twice. And I had arrived. I am the shit. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm all over the world. I'm playing drums, chasing girls, getting loaded, and I'm partying. Guy taught me how to drink when I was 19 years old. I was drinking like some whiskey or something, trying to guzzle something. He goes, hey, you don't drink like that. Dude, you're a rock star. You can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, hey, you got to order a cognac, Coke back. I said, why? He said, hey, everybody's running around with little drinks. You got to have a cognac, Coke back. I'm 19 years old. I'm the coolest thing on 2 feet. I got this big ass Afro wig I'm wearing. I weighed about 145 pounds, but I had these 5-inch platform heels on, so I was about 6'4". I looked like a big giant eraser or something, you know? Or paintbrush or something. It was just crazy. And I mean, we were on tour, we were doing this stuff, and I mean, that was gonna be my life forever. You know, I ended up getting signed to Motown Records as an artist, a producer, and a songwriter. And I made just gold and platinum records with all kinds of people. It's crazy. My life just went, and it was gonna be like this forever. You know, but like I said before, I began to smoke a little bit, because I like to go down here and I pick up speed, right? Speed was stupid. I could now afford cocaine. Cocaine was cool. Because cognac, Coke back, cocaine, and everything else that goes along with it, all over the place. Rick James is a crazy dude. It's a hell of a drug. Anyway, I'm back. So, the worst thing you can ever be, if you're a musician, the worst thing you can be is a Motown drummer that can't keep time. They would call me for the session. I'd come there, I'd be too drunk. I'll be right back. Go out to the car, come back like, let's go. Man, it's a ballad. Let's go. Back to the car. And I mean, after a while, the phone stopped ringing. I stopped getting these tours. I stopped getting the phone calls. And I was just stuck on stupid. So I did the next greatest thing, the next smartest thing a guy could do. I got married. I married a wonderful, wonderful young lady. We had a great relationship for about 2 months. And then we got pregnant. And remember I told you I had this ooh. Well, the ego stops. I mean, the ego doesn't stop, but the check stopped, you know. And the gig stopped. But I still had some other little hustle going, so I always had, the money was coming in. We got pregnant, and on the way to us getting pregnant, there happened to be another young lady that I got pregnant who was a secretary of Motown. We had a son. She had moved, took him off to New York, hadn't seen him since he was 3 years old. Next thing I know, we're having a kid. Daniel was born 9.5 weeks premature. He was 2 pounds, 14 ounces when he was born. And it was an emergency C-section. So here, she's on the 2nd floor of St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank dying. He's on the 5th floor at St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank dying because his internal organs hadn't formed. But for some reason, by then, I knew I had a problem drinking doing drugs. One of my 23 attempts, countless vain attempts to prove I could drink and freebase like a gentleman, I found myself 20 days sober on July the 7th, the day that he was born. Never drink again. I went down to my wife and I said, God, if you save my wife, I will live for you forever. I will never do to you, I'll never do to her what my fathers did to my mother. I'll be there forever for this lady. Please save my wife. I went up to the 5th floor and I took my son Adam, I held him in my hand. And I say this, whenever I say this, I'm talking about my hand, I mean literally this little teeny, just this little teeny head and these two little feet just, and I held this kid in my hand. And I said, God, if you save this kid, I will live for you forever. I will never treat him like my father's treated me. I will love this kid and I'll be there forever and I'll be sober forever. God, please save my son. 3 days later, we were able to take my wife home. 3 months later, we took, let's see, July. 3 months later, we took, 2.5 months later, I'm sorry, we took my 4.5-pound son out of the incubator and took him home. He was home in time for his first Halloween. It was a beautiful, beautiful thing. You know, and 6 weeks later, I had a bottle in my face and a pipe shoved up my butt, because that's how I roll. I haven't seen that kid in 23 years now, because that's how I roll. I tried so many times to stop drinking. I would come to these AA meetings. I would do anything you guys said. I memorized chapter 3, chapter 5. Like I said, I knew all the tricks. I knew all that stuff. I was cool. I was funny. I could do all kind of cool stuff. I knew the cool people to hang out with. You know, I knew who wanted to see a picture, who wanted to hang out with me and stuff. You know, but I could not stop drinking. I don't have a drinking problem. I have a stopping problem. Once I start, I don't know when I'm ever going to stop. I can't stop. It goes down easy. I mean, I get it down. You know what I'm saying? I tried so many different ways. I would do anything to get sober. Anything but the steps. February 28, 1993. This gentleman picks me up for a meeting at the Newport Club at 6:15 a.m. The meeting started at 6:30. I walked in this room. There were 12 men in that room, plus me. To this day, I can still name all 12 of those men. I can tell you exactly where they were all sitting. I don't know why. It was just another day. I had more money coming on Tuesday, you know, and I knew I'd be out again. But I sat in that room and I listened to everything those guys had to say. When the meeting was over, the gentleman said, hey, I'll come back and pick you up tomorrow and take you to the meeting again. I said, hey, don't worry about it. I can get here myself. See, because I'm one of those guys who never had, I grew up in the church. My mother's a minister, my grandmother's a minister, her mother was a minister, everybody, I mean, I'm just minister, right? So I've always believed in God. So here's my curse. I said, okay, God, here's how you're going to do it. If you want me to go to this meeting, if I wake up before 6:20, I'll go to that meeting. And if I don't, I stay in bed. And I said, hey, no alarm clock, you're God. Every day for the next 5.5 years, I woke up before 6:20. Every day. If I went to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, been out doing music in the studio all night long, I got in bed at 4, and I'm just going to sleep. I wake up at 6:15. And I got up and I would go to that meeting. I learned a lot of stuff, mostly about me. When I talk about denial aisle, that's just a place inside my head. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, I'll do anything but the steps. Relapse row, that's just me. It's my 24th attempt at getting sober. Half measure section, that's just me. Whenever I talk out here, I'm just talking about me. If you guys happen to get it, if you relate, if you smile, if you laugh, it's only because you get the joke. So I came here and this guy tricked me into doing these stupid steps. I come to AA, man, you know, the guy say, man, you ever read the big book? I'm like, of course I read the big book. You know, I used to do a lot, do a lot of speed reading, you know. You take speed and you try to read the book. I don't suggest that for anybody, you know. Hey, but I tried anything. I'll try anything but the steps. And he said, here's what you got to do. You got to read this book. And when you read the book, every time you get to a period, no, he said, every time you get to a comma, pause for a second. Every time you get to a period, pause for 2 seconds. Every time you get to a semicolon, pause for a second and a half. They really mean it. And every time it says, ask him, or we ask, that means it's a prayer. I was like, ooh, all right, I'm going to read this thing. So this guy showed me this book. He said, hey, grab this book. Now, don't forget, I've been in and out of this program, 23 times, right? He gives me a book, and he goes, all right, well, here. When you open up this book, it will tell you exactly what you know about the program. Don't forget, upper 1% of the nation IQ. I'm a brilliant guy. Pop the book open. You know what's on the first page? Nothing. He goes, yeah, that's exactly what you know about this program. I said, I've been coming here for like 11 years, man. He goes, yeah, well, what do you know? What have you been doing? This is exactly what you know. He said, but if you close the book, it's a magical book. He said, close the book, and this time when you open it up, it'll tell you exactly what you got to be to get this program. Brilliant guy. I popped the book open. You know what's on the first page? Nothing. He said, you can have no preconceived notions. Don't think you know anything. Let God and the program fill you up with all you need. I was like, wow. So I come to my second meeting at the Newport Club, and it's really funny because the first day there were 12 guys in the room, right? The second day the room was full of people. And they started going around the room, and they're like, hey, a little part they start reading, if you want what we have. I looked around the room and said, yeah, white women. Got one. Hey, it kept me coming back, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I'm teasing. That was just to be funny. He asked me if I was going to be funny. That was just to be funny, man, okay? Not really. I like white women. So this guy takes his book and he says, he tells me, he goes, hey, he goes, look, how many times you done steps? I've done steps a bunch of times. The guy tells me, well, you look at the steps on the wall, and he goes, all right, what does the word admit mean? I said, well, admit means, to admit. And he said, well, you mean like to acknowledge as true or to state as a fact? To confess? I said, yeah, that's it. He goes, no, that's the one in the fifth step. He said, the one in the first step. It's like if you buy a ticket to a baseball game, what does it say on the back of the ticket? It says admit one, which means to let me in. Not verbalize out, but to let it in. I think it's on page 30 in our big book on the left-hand side. It says, we learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. Not me talk out. I have to concede to myself. Because by the time you come here and say, look, I'm an alcoholic, okay, I'll admit it. Everybody's like, well, no shit. Like, duh. He said, well, the word power. What does it mean? Power means, power. He said, well, you really don't know what these words mean, huh? I said, well, I've done the steps. He said, well, how could you have done the steps if you don't even know what these words mean? So the guy gets a dictionary. He says, this is what I want you to do. Look these words up in the dictionary. We're going to sit down. And this guy did it. And to this day, I do the same thing with everybody I sponsor. We go through the same ritual. We go through the same thing. It's unbelievable. Guy took me through these words. We did the first 3 steps, sitting there with a dictionary, after I had written all the words, a dictionary, notepad, and paper. And the beautiful thing about that is once I started writing there, I was not afraid to write when I got to that 4th step. You know what I'm saying? Dude tricked me. He's badass. He's ninja. Yeah, it's just crazy. Admit powerless over alcohol. Admit, to concede entry, to allow in, to allow scope for. Powerless. Power, the ability to produce an outcome. The ability to produce an outcome. Having dominion over, control, manipulation. And the suffix less means ain't got no. I thought it meant smaller degree, like I have less money than you. No. If you say I'm homeless, does that mean I have a smaller house? That means ain't got no. Hopeless, ain't got no. Loveless, friendless, penniless, powerless. I was like, whoa, that's some heavy shit. He said, can you admit to your innermost self that when it comes to alcohol, you absolutely have no power? I said, yeah. He said, what do you call a person who keeps trying to prove power over something he ain't got no power over? And after a long, drawn-out story, it turned out to be insane. I thought that step was all about me drinking. It's all about my thinking. That new thought. And he said, I also had to admit that my life had become unmanageable. Really cool stuff right here. This is really cool. How much longer? About 10 minutes? Okay, good, because I don't want to go over. I don't want to just make it right. You guys okay out there? Yeah. All right, good. My life had become unmanageable. My life. Every breath I've ever had, every thought I've ever had, everything I've ever seen, every experience I've had, it's in my life. Every shit I've taken, every lie I've told, that's my life. Everything I've ever stolen, everybody I've ever stolen from me is my life. Every time I've seen a rainbow, when I felt the snow, felt the cold, felt the rain, that's life. The love that you feel for your dog, the love your dog gives you, the love you have for that's your life. My life had become unmanageable. My life had become, the word become means to transform from one condition to another. My life had transformed from one condition to another, condition of unmanageability. Manage is the ability to produce an outcome, to have dominion over, to organize, to direct. Able simply means having sufficient strength. Manageable, having sufficient strength to organize, to direct, to have dominion over, right? And you know what the word un means? Not. My life had transformed to a condition of manage, able, not. And for the first time in my life, I really, truly understood what that meant. I've been trying to prove power over something I've got no power over. I've been trying to manage something I can't manage. That's just called insanity. Come to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Come to believe. Come just simply means to move toward or arrive at. Believe means to have a firm conviction in the truth of the validity of something. Come to believe that a power with a capital P. Second step has a capital P. That just simply means entity of authority or God. Come to believe. Move toward or arrive at a firm conviction in the truth of the validity that an entity of authority, and restore simply means to bring back to a former condition. Could bring me back to a former condition. Sanity. You know what sanity means? Soundness of mind. See, I'm a member of Alcoholics Anonymous today in good standing. I have sanity. I have soundness of mind, though you guys may not think so. I've been restored to sanity. And that happened as a result of taking action that I never thought. While I was busy doing something else, God was taking care of me. While I was busy doing this stuff, walking one foot in front of the God was taking care of me, doing things that I never ever thought I'd ever do. I made a decision to turn my life and my will over to the care of God. Made a decision. You know, there's a place on page 44 in our big book on the left-hand side. Sounds really cool when I say that, huh? You know, 44 on the left-hand side. You know, 57 on the right-hand side. You know, all the even numbers are on the left, the odd numbers are on the right, so who cares? So, 44 on the left-hand side. Simple thing. It's really cool. It says, to be doomed to an alcoholic death or to live on spiritual basis are not always easy alternatives to face. To be doomed to an alcoholic death or to live on spiritual basis, on spiritual principles, is not always an easy alternative to face. Why not? To be doomed to death or to live. If I go outside and ask somebody on the corner, hey, look, man, you want to die or you want to live? This guy's going to look at me like, boy, you must be crazy. But you come into a room full of alcoholics and go, hey, you want to die or you want to live? Well, can I get a hit on the way out or something? I mean, I just want to, you know, I mean, can I pick how I'm going to die? If I get to pick how I'm going to die, all right, I know it's going to be crazy. Put your fingers in your ear. If I get to pick how I'm going to die having sex. So I can come and go at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Just boom, 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 boom. No, wait. Wait. Everybody's looking at me like this. And all you guys going to be in the long line too. All you guys going to be in the same line. All right, here. Either you could die having sex or die getting hit by a truck. What line you in? She's got 39 years. What line you in? Yeah. Ooh, either one. So you want to have sex with a truck driver on the... Hey, I don't know. Oh boy, I'm not always returned to sanity. Sometimes I get out there. And so check this out. Here's how this thing works. I do these steps. Take this. You know what I'm saying? This is what we do. I begin to learn what this program really is. I spent a lot of time on step none. And as I got through these steps, and he tricked me into this fourth step, and he told me, look, just write down the names of everybody that you're pissed off, everybody who you hate. And I just wrote these names, I could write them out. And I go, okay, now, just write down why you're angry at them. Yeah, write down, come on, give me more. He goes, hey, now look, write down what they did to you. Yeah, I got on, I'm angry. Yeah, come on, dude. He goes, all right, now here's what we're going to do. Forget what they did, forget column 2 and 3, and resolutely look at your own part in this. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, where were you at fault? And he ran this thing through the book, page 64, when they begin the prayers. You guys know the fourth step is not all about me looking at me and yelling at people and being angry. It's really about teaching me how to pray. There are 3 prayers in the fourth step. One for anger, one for fear, and another praying for the right kind of relationships. I thought it was all about, see, after the third step prayer, God, I offer myself to thee to build me and do with me as thou wilt, relieve me of the bondage of self, right? So I can better do thy will. Take away my difficulties. Why? So I can be better? No. Take away my difficulties so that victory over them can bear witness to those that I may help with your power. So people can look at me and see what God can do, right? Then they get these 3 prayers. The anger prayer, when you're angry, God, please remove this. Thy will, not mine, be done. What can I do to help this guy? Fear. God, please take away this fear and direct my attention to what you would have me be, not do. What you would have me be. Sometimes God would just have me be still. Be quiet. Be courageous. Be a man. Be a servant. Be a friend. I keep trying to do stuff. I should be a human being, a tool for good for God. Because that's what my job is right now. My job is just to be a tool for good for God. 77, our real purpose is to fit ourselves to be of maximum service to God and the people about us. That's my job. I can't be of service without fitting myself. So as I said earlier, there's a lot of us who come around here and we go to lots of meetings and we never read the literature. We don't read the literature. Those pamphlets are amazing. The books are unbelievable. Many of us have never done the steps, and most of us go to meetings and share. Please, stop it. You can't transmit something you haven't got. And some people come here and they get the wrong impression of what Alcoholics Anonymous really is. It is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. So all I want to leave you guys with tonight is my life is just stupid, sick, amazing. I've got a woman here who loves the crap out of me. And she has afforded me the opportunity to stand and be a delegate, to stand up and serve the people I get to serve. Do you know in our area here we have over 60,000 alcoholics? Just in our area alone. The Mid-Southern California area, 09. We have the largest contingency of alcoholics in all of the areas of the United States and Canada. And you guys are part of that. I'm going to the General Service Conference in a month. There's a whole bunch of items that we need to hear the voices of alcoholics to tell us where to go and how to do it. Because nobody runs this but you guys. How many of you guys out there have a GSR in your home group? Don't be fibbing, because I ain't seen all you GSRs at your meetings. Don't be fibbing. Because I watch, I keep an eye. I came out here to the tumbleweeds not too long ago. Ooh. That was unbelievable. It was I got to tell you guys real quick. I know I'm going to stop real quick. Hey, my first introduction to AA here, well, I've been to a couple of the district meetings, but I came out here about a month and a half ago. And a good friend of mine, Gary, called me and said, hey, if you come out here, I'll take you to one of my groups out here. It'd be good. I'll be here Friday night and take you over to Lucerne to this group. I said, yeah, I'm coming. He goes, okay, good. Because I already called the secretary. Everybody's really excited. They're pumped for you. They're going to roll out the red carpet. I said, oh, this is going to be cool. Yeah, I'm going. He gets in the car. He drives me down there. We get to this place called The Place, I guess. We get to the place. I'm ready. I walk in there. There's 4 people. It was the best meeting I've been to in a long, long time. You know what I'm saying? You guys know. The next day I got to go to a meeting in the morning at Tumbleweeds, because I was going to come later on, right? I'm coming in to regulate. So I came in plain clothes early in the morning, right? And I come in there dressed like an African-American dude, and they were like, not one person welcomed me, not one person shook my hand. I sat in that meeting as a guy who's never ever been around. And I'm not talking bad, it just happens sometimes. Things happen. I don't know what the situations are, but that's what happened. I walk in this place, and it was like, wow. It was weird, so I ran home and called my wife and said, I just went to this meeting, and it was strange. But I came back later for the business meeting, and they had like 26 meetings there in that place. They had 26 representatives of those meetings. I was like, man, now that's what I'm talking about. That's what service is all about. I'm in Alcoholics Anonymous now to serve. My job is to be a tool for good for God. But they also tell me that a dull tool used all day long can hardly do the work that a sharp tool can do in one swipe, right? And that sharp tool used in the master's hand can do even better work. And that's what my job is today, is to be a tool for good for God, but I'm also your trusted servant. You guys get to tell me how you feel about these subjects that we're going to talk about in New York. And I get to go there, and trust me, I'm not afraid of the microphone. I go to New York, and I sit there and squabble with these other 132 people who are there trying to have their own way. And I go there to represent because that's my job right now. I'm such a blessed man. I can't even say young man anymore because I'm freaking old, you know. But like I said, I just celebrated my 20th year. The day on my birthday, we got in a plane and went to Boise, Idaho for the Pacific Region Alcoholics Anonymous Service Assembly. I got to serve there. I get to come and do this. And Sunday morning, I got to be in Long Beach at 8:30 to be a delegate at an area meeting. And after that, I get to go to Corona to speak about some concepts. And after that, I get to go, and it just goes on and on and on and on. I am so blessed that Alcoholics Anonymous has given me a life worth living. And also, I'm a member in good standing. My home group is the morning meditation group of Alcoholics Anonymous. Meets every morning at 6:45 a.m., Bay and Orange. We have a GSR. We have group conscience. We have an informed group. And I hope that all you guys can find along the way what I have found in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's given me a reason to live. And I still live in Newport Beach. And they love some Negro down there, boy. I let them know I'm equal opportunity nasty, man. I'm nasty to everybody, you know. But I'm so blessed. I'm so glad you guys are here. And, you know, I could talk on for like hours and hours, but I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry? Well, come on up here and join in, man. I'll heckle you for a little while. Don't get me started. I just told you I'm equal opportunity nasty, man. I don't care if you got a crutch over there, man. Jeez. Like, that's a target, man. You got to be kidding. Hey, man, I'll jack your friends up, too. Hey, if you're his friend, stand up. Let me talk. I'm going to get you right now. Ain't nobody standing. Look at that. See? See what I'm saying? One. They got two. Wait. But wait. I want you guys to look. Look how quickly they sat down. Don't get me started. Less? Oh, boy, you really don't want none. Because I know you're a lady, so I'm not gonna mess with her. I know her. She's cool. Hey, man, I am so blessed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. God has given me the greatest life ever. And I thank all of you guys and ladies for being here. Thank you for letting me speak to you.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.